Hello everybody, welcome to Corona Yoga. Sorry, I don't mean to make a joke out of it, but it's hilarious. So, we're in quarantine yoga, week number 2. I'm on day 8 of my quarantine. How about you? So I'm just going to dive right in today. We're going to start sitting. I'm sitting up on a block. If you have a block or a book or something just to elevate the pelvis a little bit, you can feel free to use it. It's not necessary. We'll only be seated here for a few minutes, so get nice and comfortable. We're going to start today with the palms facing up. So the palms facing up is an inherently energizing posture. So even as you allow the body to kind of settle into place and maybe enter more of a meditative state, the palms up encourages, invites positivity, invites fresh, new information, energy from the space around you. So if you're like me and you've been sitting in the same space for many days on end, looking for a little bit of a change of scenery, this might be a way to sort of reinvigorate yourself, your surroundings. With that said, resting the hands heavily on the legs, let the eyes start to close. So this beginning of the practice is a crucial moment where you allow for a transition to take place. And not to sound like a broken record, but again, as many of us are spending a lot of time at home, probably more than usual, these few moments at the beginning of the practice are especially important to allow yourself to transition from whatever work you may have been just working on, whatever projects have been occupying you, to this place that's really about something else. To this next several minutes to an hour that you're taking for yourself. We begin this by noticing a natural breathing pattern. So you're not trying to force some particular kind of breath, but just to take stock of the breath that's already happening. And then noticing details about the breath. Notice if your inhale is longer than your exhale or vice versa. No judgment, nothing is right or wrong, just noticing. If there's something you feel that you'd like to shift as you start to recognize this pattern, feel free and take your time to shift the breath so that it suits you. Meanwhile, the palms of the hands are open to the space, leaving a little bit of availability. Slowly beginning to deepen the breath. Take more air into the nose, really puff up the lungs, maybe even puff out the belly. And exhale, let everything soften. 3 or 4 more times just like this. Inhaling and exhaling. If you do find it useful to set an intention for your practice or for your day, this is a great time to find that intention. Sort of just a checkpoint for yourself, a place that you can come back to, ask yourself a simple question, repeat a simple phrase, or maybe just envision a certain image, color, whatever works for you. And when you're ready, gently opening the eyes back into the space, hopefully a refreshed, invigorated space. If you are sitting up on a prop, you might want to come down off of it, place it to the side, and finding the sits bones on the floor. Inhaling, we'll start to look up toward the sky, chin lifts. Exhaling, chin to the chest. A very slow nod, yes, with the head. Inhaling to lift, exhale to lower. Continuing gently, just feeling what opens, feeling what needs to soften. And coming back to center, let the ear fall to the shoulder. Through center and second side. So the head tips side to side. Eventually the head starts to draw full circles. So you can imagine the tip of the nose is drawing a circle in space. You can see that line that's being traced with the tip of your nose. Nice smooth circles, no rush. And when you're ready, circling the other direction. Next, inhale, head sits on top of the spine, coming up nice and tall through the back of the body, arms floating out to a T shape. The left fingers find the mat and start to crawl out away from you, taking your ribcage with you. Eventually, the palm of the hand comes flat onto the floor, right fingers reaching high. So we're tipping sideways, keeping that wingspan nice and wide. Nose still facing the front of the space. With your next exhale, sending your gaze up toward the right fingertips. As you arrive here in a little twist, maybe you start to let this right arm fall back into that space behind you. Opening the heart. Keep pressing left fingers into the mat. Exhale, look down to the left hand. Right hand joins, framing the left knee. Nose falls toward that left knee. As you hang to the left side, the right half of your pelvis, your right knee, get heavier. So be careful not to tip the pelvis, letting the sits bone leave the floor. Stay planted in both pelvic halves. Deep breath in, full breath out. Next, inhale, walking your hands through center. Keep your head hanging heavily forward. We come to a forward fold here. Maybe you give the head a little shake or soft action to free the neck and jaw. Staying here with the upper body. The right hand comes back to the hip. Bring your thumb right into the hip crease, so that place where your hip folds into your thigh, and use your thumb to press down, spiraling your rib cage open. Taking a little twist here again. Maybe the left fingertips crawl even further forward. Deep breath in. Full breath out, folding forward. With an inhale, rolling up to sit nice and tall. Give the head a little shake, the neck softens, the jaw releases. We'll come to the second side. Inhaling, arms open to a T shape. Right fingertips find the mat, and go ahead and start to crawl out. As you crawl, the upper body joins. The left fingers stay reaching wide. Deep breath in. Full breath out, send your gaze up to the left fingertips, and if it's available, let that left arm start to fall open. Keep the jaw, the throat relaxed. Exhale, look down over the right knee. Left hand joins the right hand on the floor, nose falls to the knee. Inhale in here. Use an exhale to let everything settle. Left pelvic half staying heavy, staying rooted into the ground. With an inhale, walk the hands forward. Head stays nice and heavy. And stay here for a few breaths. As you're ready, send your left thumb right into that left hip crease. So you can really push down and back. Get your thumb really in there. And then maybe crawl the right fingertips further forward as you spiral the heart open. Release, two arms reach forward as you roll up to sit, uncrossing the legs. Plant 2 feet into the floor and let the knees just fall right and left. Softening the hips, softening the low back, a little bit of activity. Coming through center, 2 sits bones flat on the mat. Sitting up nice and long through the back, we'll come to a variation of Navasana, boat pose. So you can hold on underneath the legs and begin to lift the lower legs until they're parallel to the floor. You should feel the abdominals engaging here. Option to stay or to reach the fingertips forward. Option to stay here or to kick the feet up toward the sky. 3 breaths wherever you are. Staying long through the back of the body. Inhaling, exhaling. Last breath in. As you exhale, we'll cross the ankles again, this time bringing the other foot in front. So the one that isn't naturally inclined to go forward, most likely. Hands come to meet the legs. We'll just circle the shoulders 3 times, forward, up and back, creating as much space, as much freedom around the shoulders as you can. Next 3 circles, tap the hands to the top of the shoulders. It's the elbow that draws the circle. 1, 2, 3. Next 3 circles, the arms reach high, big swimming action backward. 1, 2, 3. As the arms come behind you, interlace the fingers behind the back, sliding shoulder blades together. The heart puffs forward and up. Maybe the eyes join. Exhale, release. Hands find the legs. We'll circle in the other direction. Shoulders back and forward 3 times. Connecting each movement with a breath. Inhaling and exhaling 3 times. Elbows in and out. And 3 times full arms. This time as the arms come forward, give yourself a big hug across the chest. Crawl your fingers closer together on your back body, lifting the elbows ever so slightly so you can hang on to your scapula. See if you can really find your shoulder blades behind you. Gripping the shoulder blades, slide them away from each other as the chest curves forward, head hangs. Gently release. We'll find our way onto hands and knees, however you like. Coming into the center of the mat. Check that there's about hip distance between the knees, about shoulder distance between the hands. Pressing all 10 fingers into the floor. Inhale, head and tail lift, cow pose. Exhale, press the floor away, round the back, cat pose. Taking these actions, cat and cow, or any variation of these actions, as many times as you need to feel this lubrication in the spine. And remember that the spine goes all the way into the skull and ends all the way at the tip of the tailbone. When you're ready, coming to a neutral spine, looking directly down between your thumbs. Back of the neck is long, toes tuck, knees float just away from the mat. So feel the abdominals engage. And from the back of the ankles, shifting your weight forward and shifting back toward the heels. Just a little rock, like you're sliding your belly forward and backward across a table. Next time that you shift your weight back, send the hips up and back for a downward facing dog. Let the head hang. Give the head a little shake if you like. Taking any actions that help you arrive in this down dog. Feel free to keep knees bent here. Deep breath in and a full breath out. Next, inhale, heels lift high. Come up onto the balls of the feet. As you exhale, the left heel lowers to the mat. The right knee bends. Inhale, both heels lift. Exhale, switching sides. Continuing with this pedaling action, let the hips sink or shift, however you need. And continuing with this walking motion, we're going to actually walk the feet forward. So trying to maintain this action, one heel lowers, opposite heel lifts. The knees can bend more and more as you walk toward the hands. As your feet arrive, bringing them as wide as the mat. So the feet are on the outsides of the hands. And let the head hang in your forward fold. Again, knees can stay bent. You have the option to just stay here, feeling this forward fold. If you'd like to come to a little twist, right hand finds the left ankle. Right knee bends nice and deep. This might be your twist for now. If you'd like to come further, left fingers float up toward the sky. And let it go. If you've taken a twist on the first side, switching to the second side, left hand to the right ankle, left knee bends deeply, right fingers climb up toward the ceiling. And release, bend the knees, swivel the feet back toward one another. Soft bend in the knees, begins a roll to stand. Head stays heavy until the last possible moment. Coming up to stand as the arms float high overhead, inhale. Exhale, hands find each other in front of the heart. Toes are spreading wide. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, diving yourself forward, bent or straight legs, head hangs. Inhale, long, flat back. Exhale, release. We'll take a big step back with the right foot, coming to your low lunge. Floating the chest forward here, inhaling. As you exhale, step back to a plank pose. Deep breath in your plank. Exhale, the knees lower to the mat. Nice and slow, elbows bend. They sweep past the ribs as you lower it all the way down. Inhale, heart floats forward, baby cobra pose. Exhale, release. Toes tuck, hips float up and back for your downward facing dog. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Inhale, the right leg floats up and back, one-legged down dog. As you exhale, knee hugs in toward the nose, shifting your weight forward, low lunge, right foot is forward. As you exhale, left foot joins, forward at the top of the mat for a forward fold. Inhaling, arms high, coming up to stand. Exhale, hands to the heart, and fingertips continue traveling all the way down for Tadasana, mountain pose. In this mountain pose, we'll take 3 circles with the shoulders. 1, you can let the hands release. 2, 3, connecting with the breath. 3 with the elbows. 1, drawing the widest circumference that you can with the elbows. And finally with the fingertips. 1, 2, 3. As you exhale, diving forward over the legs, bent or straight legs. Inhale, long, flat back. Exhale, release. Left foot steps back, all the way back for your low lunge. Inhale, floating the heart forward. Exhale, hands to the mat, finding plank pose. Deep breath in here, in. Out, knees lower, chest lowers. Next, in breath, heart floats forward and up. Next, out, breath, toes tuck. Hips lift up and back, downward dog. Inhale, left leg floats high. Exhale, stepping forward between the hands. As you exhale next, right foot joins left foot in your forward fold. Soft knees, coming all the way to stand, arms are high. Exhale, hands to the heart, and all the way down to the floor, this time circling the opposite direction. Shoulders move back, forward, back, and forward. And then the elbows circle 3 times. And the fingertips circle 3 times. If the rest of the body needs to adjust or move a little bit to allow for this, find that however you need. Inhaling in Tadasana, mountain pose. Arms reach overhead. Exhale, diving forward. Inhaling, long, flat back. Exhale, release. Right foot steps far back to your low lunge. This time that right knee, back knee, lowers to gently find the mat. Back toes pointing. Step your hands up onto that front leg. Use your hands to press down, lifting out away from the hips. So rather than feel like you're just kind of getting really heavy and gravity is pulling you toward the floor, use both feet to press down to lift up and away. Maybe you accentuate this floating action by lifting the arms high. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Option to send the gaze up toward the fingertips. Exhale, hands find the mat. Back toes tuck. Press your back heel away from you to straighten that leg. Right hand stays in the mat. Left fingers sweep across the heart. Open to the sky for a twist. Inhaling here. Exhale, look down. Hand comes down. Pressing into all 10 fingers, we'll hug the left knee into the chest, so that left knee is hovering. As you exhale, the left leg will cross the body and tap the floor. Inhale through center. This time the leg opens, taps the outside. Inhaling. Exhale to tap across. Inhaling. Tap open. Once more, each direction. Keep breathing. Keep pressing the hands into the mat. Left knee in toward the nose. Shoot that foot back, plank pose, and lower either knees then chest, or the whole body in one piece. Inhale, heart floats forward, Bhujangasana, cobra pose, and release. Toes tuck, hips float up and back. Finding yourself in down dog for 3 full breaths. Inhaling, and a full breath out. Twice more. Settling, calming the nervous system, activating the body. With an inhale, the right leg kicks up to the sky. Exhale, right foot steps forward. You're in your low lunge. Imagine the 2 inner thighs are squeezing in toward each other, toward this imaginary midline. As the inner thighs engage toward one another, reach the fingertips low and long toward your back heel. Exhale, hands to the mat, stepping forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. Soft knees, inhaling up to stand. Exhaling, hands to the heart. Second side, inhale, arms high. Exhale, diving, bent or straight legs, head as heavy as soon as possible. Inhale, head is light, heart is light, flat back. And release, left foot steps far back to your low lunge. Left knee lower to the floor. Back toes point, stepping your hands onto your right leg. And then use all of these contact points that you have with the mat. The right foot, left knee, left foot, to press down, taking your weight out of the floor, floating high, maybe adding arms overhead. And eventually, the eyes can join. Exhale, hands find the mat, back toes tuck. Press your left heel back and away to engage the back leg, pouring weight into your left hand. Right fingertips reach high. As you exhale, look down. Hand comes down, hugging the right knee into the chest, so that leg is hovering above the mat. 3 times in each direction. Exhale to cross and tap, coming through center. Tap open, center. Moving at your own pace, making sure you're still breathing actively. Once you've finished both directions, shoot that right foot back to join the left, plank pose, and lowering to your belly. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, release. Toes tuck, hips float up and back for your Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. 3 complete breath cycles here. Inhale and exhaling. Next, inhale, left leg kicks up to the sky, and step it forward to a low, long lunge. Magnets on the inner thighs moving toward each other as the fingertips reach low and long. Deep breath in. Hands find the mat, stepping back foot forward to your forward fold. Bend the knees, give the head a little sway, shoulders soft. Coming back to stillness. Inhale, arms high, coming up to stand. Exhale, hands to the heart. Staying here, plug the thumbs into the breastbone. Sternum pressing into the thumbs. And see if you can just float the heels away from the mat. Finding your balance for a moment. And then let them release. Fingertips coming down in Tadasana, in your mountain pose. Deep breath in through the nose. Fill the lungs, lengthen the spine. Exhale, sitting low, Utkatasana, chair pose. As you exhale, hands to the heart. As you inhale, arms float high, sitting even deeper, lower into your chair. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale, long, flat back. Fill the lungs completely. Exhale, release, right foot steps back. We're in that low lunge again. Back knee lowers, back toe points right away. Arms scoop high, overhead, knee down crescent. Exhale, hands to the floor. Now for this next series, you can either leave this back knee on the mat, or you can work a little more challenging, would be to straighten that back leg. So if you have the leg straight, know that at any point you can lower the knee again. From here, we're gonna walk the right fingers directly out to the side. So not forward or backward, just wider than the mat. Pouring your weight into that right hand. Left finger sweep across the heart, open to the sky. So very similar to how we started seated, looking up toward those left fingers. If it feels available, let that left arm start to fall back into that unknown space behind you. Working in this vulnerable unknown. Very relevant for the current times. As you exhale, look toward the right fingers down at the floor. Left hand joins the right hand, and then you might want to walk both hands even further out, now sort of on a forward diagonal. So we're moving into a variation of a lizard pose. Again, you can lower that back leg to the floor and let the head hang. Here, the pelvis is getting nice and heavy. And when you're ready, walk the hands back beneath the shoulders. Keep the right hand on the floor. Bring your left thumb right into that hip crease. So I'll face you to hopefully demonstrate more clearly. Slide that thumb into the hip crease. Right hand is down, peeling the left shoulder open. A little twist here. As you exhale, look down. Hands come down. Stepping to a plank pose. Moving either through your vinyasa, knees then chest, or the whole body, maybe chaturanga dandasana, through a cobra or up dog. Or you can leave it out and come directly to your downward facing dog. Arriving with 3 full breaths in and out. On your third exhale, knees bend, looking forward. Step or hop your feet to reach the hands. Arriving in your forward fold. Soft bend in the knees all the way up to stand. Arms are high. Exhale, hands to the heart. Fingertips continue down for mountain pose. Full breath in here. And a complete exhale. With your next exhale, sitting deep into Utkatasana, chair pose, shifting the hips not only down, but down and back. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, diving forward, heavy head. Inhale, long, flat back. Exhale, release, left leg far back, low lunge. Back knee lowers. Arms scoop high. Knee down, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands find the mat. Back toes tuck and back leg lengthens, or feel free to leave your knee on the mat. Left hand walks wider than the mat. All of your weight pours into that left hand as the right arm floats up to the sky. As it becomes available, let the right arm continue falling back encouraging the chest to open further. Back leg, if it's long, is very long, very active. Exhale, look down to the left hand. Right hand joins left hand, and then both hands take a walk out, farther away from that right foot. Back knee can lower here. Pelvis gets heavy as the head hangs forward. Take your hands for a walk underneath the shoulders. Pouring weight into your left hand, right thumb slides into that fold at the right hip. Press into that fold to peel the heart open. Again, if the back leg is long, as in the knee's not on the floor, really push back through your left heel to straighten the leg. Exhale, look down, both hands are down, step into a plank, either moving through your vinyasa variation or directly to downward facing dog. We'll meet all together in down dog for 3 breaths. You can always come to a child's pose for a rest. When you're ready, knees bend, looking forward, walk or hop the feet to reach the hands. Heavy head hangs. Softening the knees all the way up to stand, arms high. Exhale, hands to the heart, and fingertips down in your mountain pose, standing tall. As you exhale, sitting deep into Utkatasana once again, shift your weight back toward your heels. As you exhale, press down to stand up, hugging the right knee into the chest. Really use your hands to draw that knee in. Deep breath in. Full breath out, floating right knee open. We'll find Vrikshasana, tree pose. Right foot anywhere along the inside of the left leg. Hands in front of the heart. Finding your breath. Option here to keep the hands where they are or to float the arms overhead. Maybe you have another arm variation that you prefer. And as you're ready, hands find each other once again. Plugging the thumbs into the sternum. We'll take the right foot with the left hand. However you need to get there, so you can use the assistance of the other hand as well. Once you have that foot or ankle firmly, we're going to let the right knee fall down toward the floor. So we're opening now this right hip flexor, really letting it open. Either bringing the right hand in front of the heart, or bringing the right hand exactly to that same place behind the heart. So the hand is situated between the shoulder blades. If you have the hand behind you, once you've found your balance, see if you can allow yourself to fall back gently into that unknown, that space behind you, trusting, maybe even lifting the gaze. Make sure you're still breathing. And gently release, hugging that right knee in toward the chest. Send the right leg back behind you for Warrior 3. Virabhadrasana 3 pose. Lost my balance. Kicking that right foot back, reaching the crown of the head forward. Deep breath in. As you exhale, hands find the floor. Step far back, falling into a low lunge. And right away, the back heel finds the mat. Preparing for Warrior 1. So that whole back foot is on the floor, arms reach high. Virabhadrasana 1. Nice wide stance. Deep bend in the front leg. Inhale. And exhale, finding a focal point for your eyes. And continue deep breaths. As you exhale, just let the arms fall down. So you're not trying to hold them in any particular position. Lower body is very active. We'll take those shoulder circles. 1, 2, 3. 3 times with the elbows. So your lower body is really your anchor here. You trust that depth, that width of your stance to keep you stable. 3 times whole arm circles backward. On the 4th big circle, we're going to open up the hips, open up the belly to the side of the room. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Looking over the left fingertips. Finding your breath. Inhale, the left palm flips up to the sky. Exhale, we'll reverse the warrior. Keep that bend in the front leg. Reaching back. Staying exactly where you are with the upper body. Press into the left foot, beginning to straighten the left leg. 2 straight legs, reverse triangle pose. With an inhale, keeping both legs straight, coming up to stand, arms to a T. You might want to scoot that back foot in a little closer. We're going to tip forward for Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle. Finding your hand to your shin, a prop, the floor. If it's available for the neck without crunching or shortening, you can start to send the gaze toward the right fingertips. Deep breath in here. As you exhale, option to hinge that right elbow behind the back. Reach around for the same hip crease, exactly where we had the thumb earlier. And maybe you can slide your hand into that crease, coming around for a half bind. Deep breath in. If you don't reach the bind, that's fine. Maybe you just place the back of the hand onto the sacrum. So you get the same feeling of the shoulder opening. Wherever you are, whether in your bind or not quite bound, look down to the left big toe. We're going to step the right foot forward. So if you have the bind, try and keep it. Step to the front of the mat, and then hang the upper body forward. If you have the bind, starting to straighten the right leg, peeling your heart open, finding a twist here. To come a little bit deeper, flip the palm of the left hand up to the sky, slip that palm underneath your left foot. So you're stepping onto the palm of your hand with the sole of your foot, and then apply a little bit more pressure, pour a little more weight into that left hand. Use that anchor to twist against with your upper body. Exhale to look down, release whatever bind you have, and the right hand joins the left hand. So you're stepping now with 2 feet on 2 hands. You can play a little bit with where your weight is and really let the head hang. Bending the elbows away from each other. Maybe start to play with straightening the legs. And gradually stepping off the hands, let blood rush back into the hands. Soft knees as you roll all the way up to stand. Fingertips anchoring you down in Tadasana, mountain pose. Deep exhale, sitting low, chair pose. Next exhale, press down, coming to stand, hug the left knee into the chest. So you can really see if you can crease in that hip. Standing nice and tall, left knee floats open, finding your tree pose on the second side. Arriving with hands in front of the heart. Take a few moments. Nervous system settling. And as you're ready, finding an arm variation that you prefer, if there is one. Make sure the breath is flowing actively, fluidly. And gradually hands find each other. Bring that left foot in, holding on with the right hand, and then let the left knee fall downward. So this is really about opening this left hip flexor and finding either half prayer in front of the heart or behind the heart. If your hand is behind the heart, use it as a guide. Feel that pressure, feel where the hand meets the body, and begin to fall into this space. This might be really subtle. It might be more the notion of a heart opener. But see what you can find here. And coming back to center, hug the left knee into the chest. Send the left leg back, Virabhadrasana 3. Warrior 3, left leg kicking back behind you. Hands find the mat, falling back into your low lunge. And then the left heel finds its way to the floor. Arms are high, Virabhadrasana 1. Right leg bent, left leg nice and long. Several deep breaths, focusing the gaze, softening any thoughts that are swirling around in the mind. Next exhale, just let the arms release. So you feel this differentiation between a really available and soft upper body and a very active and grounded lower body. We'll circle shoulders forward, up and back. 3 times. 3 times the elbows. And 3 times the arms. The 4th time that the arms circle, hips open, belly opens, sinking deep into your warrior 2. Looking over the right fingertips. Right palm flips up to the sky. Exhale, reverse the warrior. Press the right foot into the mat to straighten that right leg, reaching right fingertips back, 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 and coming up to stand. You might want to swivel that back foot in a bit as we tip forward for Trikonasana, triangle pose. Left finger is super active here, reaching up toward the sky. Maybe the gaze floats up to meet those fingers. And as you're ready, hinging that left elbow, either bringing your hand to the sacrum or all the way around for this bind variation. Keep peeling your left shoulder blade back and open. As you exhale, look down to the right big toe. Wherever your left hand is, see if you can keep it there as you step your left foot to meet the right foot. If you're in your bind, or even if you're not, you can start to straighten that left leg, peeling the heart open. Right knee can stay bent here. Option to step onto your right palm, so flip that palm high, slide it under the right foot, and then pour your weight into your hand. Really stand on your hand. And let it go. Left hand lowers, joins the right hand. 2 feet on 2 hands. Head is hanging. Maybe you're drawing your chest closer to the thighs. And perhaps eventually playing with starting to straighten the legs. Very gently release. Give the hands a little shake. Softening the bend in the knees. Inhale, rolling up to stand. Arms reaching overhead. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale, long flat back. Exhale, release, knees bend, feet swivel out as wide as the mat. Toes are pointing out on a slight angle, and we'll sit the hips down between the heels. So we're coming to Malasana, squat here. If this is challenging for you and you do have a block or kind of a chunky book nearby, you can place it underneath the sits bones for a little extra support. Also know that the heels don't have to be on the floor here. If they don't quite reach, that's no problem. Hands are in front of the heart. Sternum is plugging into the thumbs. So really think about the breastbone floating forward to meet your thumbs. Deep breath in through the nose. And a full breath out. 2 more breaths wherever you are. And let the hands go. Lift the hips just enough to swivel the feet back toward one another. We'll come down to a little squat. So again, the heels don't have to be on the floor. Just let the head hang forward. And as you're ready, gently walk the hips back, sitting onto the floor. Extending legs out in front of you for Dandasana, staff pose. If you want to sit up on that prop once again, feel free. If the knees don't want to straighten completely, no worries. You can even slide a little cushion or rolled up blanket underneath the knees here. Inhale, arms reaching high overhead. Exhale, the fingertips arc up and forward until you can't reach any further. The hands land wherever they land. Thighs, shins, ankles, feet, and then let the head hang forward. We'll stay in this deep forward fold for a series of several breaths. So adjust so that it's reasonably comfortable for you. And then see if you can really commit to 4 or 5 more breath cycles. Notice if your tendency to move is coming out of necessity or if it's sort of habitual or boredom or discomfort. Try to locate sensation and see if it's sensation that you can sit with a little longer. When you're ready, slowly rolling up through the spine, coming to sit. We'll hug the right knee in toward the chest, and then let the knee fall open. Left leg stays long, left foot stays flexed. 2 arms are overhead. Twist so that the belly button faces that extended leg. And then the same action, arcing fingers up and out until they can't reach any further. They land. Nose to the knee, Janu Shirshasana. Head to knee pose. So as you're reaching over this extended left leg, you probably feel quite a bit of sensation in the left leg, but notice what's happening in the right half of the body as well. So that right pelvic half is releasing into the floor. The right knee is getting heavier with gravity. The 2 pelvic halves working in slightly different orientations here. Breathing into the pelvis. And gradually rounding up through the spine. Hug that right knee back into center. Let it go straight out in front of you. Give the leg a little shake if you need. And second side, left knee in, left knee falls open, sitting up nice and high on the sits bones, right foot flexed actively, arms are high, twisting to face that right leg, and then arcing the fingers. So rather than just kind of collapsing forward, this journey to get there is crucial. Finding the space as you dive forward. You're actually creating more space in the pelvis, more space in the spine to arrive in the deepest, fullest expression of this pose. Deep breath in and a full breath out. And as you're ready, slowly rounding up through the spine. Head is the last thing to arrive. Knee hugs into parallel. Joining right leg, give the legs a little shake. And scoot yourself to the top of the mat, rolling on to your back. We're going to take 2 back bends on the back. If you have this block-like prop nearby, you may want it for a more restorative back bend. I'll talk you through that in a moment. Heels step close to the sits bones, palms of the hands resting down on the floor. Before we come into the back bends, just let the knees fall like windshield wipers to the left, to the right, back and forth a few times, working out any tension in the low back. Coming back to center, plant both feet firmly on the mat. Slip the shoulder blades toward each other. So you're going to really step onto your shoulder blades. The chest will puff up away from the mat. And then with this space that you've created out of underneath the back, press into the space. So you press any light shining under your spine away. Starting to lift the pelvis high for a bridge pose. Aiming to keep the neck, the throat, nice and long here. Plenty of space for breath to move. Knees stay parallel to one another. Full breaths. You can see your belly rising and falling with your breath. If you'd like to choose to stay a little bit longer and make this potentially a more restorative posture, you can find your block nearby and just slip it underneath your pelvis. So if you have a sort of traditional yoga block, you can use it at any of the 3 heights, low, medium, or high. If you're working with another object, just make sure that there's enough surface area on the mat that it's sturdy, that you won't potentially slip off. So this is option 1, to stay longer. If you'd like to come down, feel free to come down. And find yourself in a sacrum release. Either bring the soles of the feet together and the knees open, or step the feet as wide as the mat and let the knees fall into each other. A little palate cleanser between back bends to let the sacrum open. If you're coming, excuse me, corona cough. If you're coming to a second back bend, preparing, take your time and either coming again to your bridge pose, starting the same way, shoulder blades together, chest puffs up, press the spine into the floor, hips begin to lift. If you'd like to come to your full wheel pose, starting the same way, hands come on either side of the ears, and then press down to rise up. Deep breaths wherever you are. If you have another variation that you'd like to take, by all means, be my guest. And whenever you're ready, make sure that you sequence out of the pose with as much care as you came into the pose with. And then once again, find that sacrum release that works for you. This time resting both hands over the body. Maybe the belly, maybe the heart, maybe a combination of the two. Starting to imagine the back of the body widening. Almost like you lose that line between where your body begins, where the floor ends, or vice versa. You know what I mean? That everything just melts down and out. And as you're ready, hugging the knees into the chest, make a little ball and let that ball travel as it needs. Maybe it rocks, side to side, or maybe draw little circles or semicircles with the knees. You can experiment here with what feels necessary, with what feels good, and then do the thing that feels good. Really, I should have said that at the beginning of the practice. Everything I'm saying is a suggestion, a good suggestion, but in general, just finding the things that work for you, the things that make you feel good, especially in these really bizarro times. It's important to be feeling nice. So with that said, we'll come to our final posture, a gentle reclined twist, arms open up, and let both knees fall across the body to the left side. As the knees land, maybe you want to adjust. Maybe there's something that feels, or that you think would feel even better than this. And then let the head fall to the right. A great opportunity to check in with your breathing. So as the body starts to slow down in activity, the breath can start to turn up its volume. So there's still plenty of kinetic energy in the body. There's still plenty of room for movement. See how you can find that in the breath. See what spaces you can fill, what extremities you can reach, simply through breathing. Bringing your knees back through center. Let the knees fall to the right side and looking out over the left fingertips. And when you're ready, knees come through center. Hug them in for one last big hug. And you can make your way to a final resting pose. Maybe that's a traditional Shavasana or a Baddha Konasana, feet together, knees open, or any other resting posture that works for you. I'm going to let you go here, so you can stay as long as you'd like in your final resting posture. I'd like to say thank you all for joining me, and I look forward to offering another video next week. Have a nice rest. Take care of yourselves. Thanks.